but I'm ill-equipped, Mr. Jack. I've been playing poker professionally for the best part of 8 years.
Yeah.
You know, I'm ill-equipped for the real world. I don't want to go back to the real world.
Yes. Use
The
that
the
as your
lifestyle of
fuel.
the real world doesn't
Yes, yes. Use that as your fuel. It's funny. I
continue.
actually used that as my fuel for so many years. Is that
Hmm.
because I am a college dropout. I basically didn't learn anything in like the. I
You're
think I went
Kanye
to college
West.
for like 2 years and I passed like one class. I went to community college for like 2 years, passed like one class. So I was always under the mindset when I was playing poker that I am playing poker and getting good at poker. And the thing I was using as fuel was like, I don't want to go back to school. I have nightmares about going back to school. I don't want to go back to school, and I don't want to go back to working a job.
Hmm.
That's what I was using as my personal fuel. I was just like comparing poker and the money made playing poker to running away from school and going back to another job. So anybody can use that as fuel, because for me, just working like a random salary job from 9 to 5 is not what I want to do. And it's as clear as day. If somebody's watching this and they're like, you know what, 9 to 5 job doesn't sound so bad. Some people might be thinking that actually after not working a 9 to 5 job for so many years, but then when they go back, they're like, oh my god, poker was such a dream. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing is like we start to, as poker regs, we start to take it for granted. Um, you know, when we're playing poker for so long, we literally start to take it for granted because we don't know what it's like to go back to 9 to 5. Like you probably forgot what it's like to actually be in the 9 to 5 world on a daily basis. You might think you remember, but it's been so long, right? So if you actually have to go back to it for like 2 months, like literally, let's say starting tomorrow, you have to go back to it for 2 months. After that 2 months, you'd be like, I love poker. I love the lifestyle it provides me. I need to get out of here. You know what I mean? Or maybe you might
Hmm.
not. Maybe you might go to 9 to 5 and be like, you know what? I like the structure. I like to wake up in the mornings. I like to work under a boss. Or I don't know. You might. It's really like a person dependent thing. Like for me, I
Hmm.
just know for a fact that 9 to 5 is not where I want to go. Um,
What if I want to do neither?
Neither. I mean, you could live on a beach and sip pina coladas all day and night, but you got to take care of yourself and your family and eat. I would imagine, right?
Those are fairly essential. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of people in this world that would, if they had the chance, they would just do neither, just like live on it. Like if you just hand them like
Professionally chill.
infinite money, they would just like hang out with friends, watch TV, lounge on the beach, like all that stuff. But realistically, we gotta make money. We gotta, um,
So, but there's
yeah.
my spot. So, how do I solve my conundrum? Is that I don't want a real job.
Okay.
I don't want to go back into the real world.
Sure.
I do want to resume being a professional poker
Mm-hmm.
player, but I'm struggling to find the motivation to overtake my opponents and effectively uh, reposition myself towards the top of the game. So how do I go about motivating myself? Is it possible to inspire myself? Can I watch YouTube videos? Is there some kind of book I can read that's going to kick my ass into gear? Or is there something deep within that I have to find in order to truly push myself to be where I want to be again?
That's one of the best questions. That's a really good question. My answer to this is very simple. You really got to find your why. Like, why the hell am I doing this? Why am I trying to make X amount of dollars or whatever? Because with poker, it's not like some, you're not gonna get like spiritual fulfillment of being an online poker player. Let's be real. So what it comes down to is like, why are you trying to make, let's say, X amount of money? What's the purpose? And once you figure out why you're trying to do this, right? Because for some people, a lot of times they actually lose inspiration and motivation when they've already made a certain amount of money, and they're like, you know what, making more money, is this something I want to do, or is this something I'm being told to do? You know what I mean? Like, or is this something I've learned from somewhere on some YouTube video that, this is what I'm supposed to be doing? For some people, they're like, all right, I'll make a couple $100,000. Let's say I own my own house, I have a car, and they're just like, I don't really care to make that much more money. You know what I mean? So I want to just, relax and live my life. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I think everybody should, at a certain point, sit down. And I got lucky with this because we do this at a Tony Robbins seminar. Like we spend hours like sitting down, writing out like how we want our life to look like. Let's say like a year down the line, 5 years down the line, 20 years down the line. You do all of it separately even. What do you want your life to look like, right? And does it require a lot of money, or does it not require a lot of money? You figure out what is it exactly that you want, not what you've been told to want or what you might think you should want in theory or whatever. What is it that you exactly want? And you start writing these things down, and you figure out like, what am I doing this for? Like, is there an end goal? Is it a means to an end? Like, am I playing poker to make X amount of money, and then once I have that amount of money, I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to play poker anymore. I want to do something else. Maybe I want to start a business with the amount of money I made from poker. Like, whatever it may be, there should be some target. There should be some target there, because if we're aimlessly just kind of playing and like we're not really sure why we're stacking up money or trying to earn money, and like, if there's not like an actual goal, you know what I mean? Then sometimes we can feel a little bit lost at the tables and with poker and stuff like that. So let's say, for example, I'll give you an example. So let's say somebody's playing poker, right? Let's say, just hypothetically, they have like, $10,000 in their bank, let's just say. And then they actually just saw a house that they really want to buy. And it's like, let's say the house is like $300,000. The down payment is like, you need to put like 40 or 50,000 down. Now they're just like, all right, I've got the inspiration. They get on their mouse, they start playing, you know what I mean? So there's something that you're shooting for, and it's an important thing to you. So you got to find out what the hell is important to you, first of all. Why is it important to you to make money? What are you going to do with the money? What's the difference if you have it as compared to if you don't have it? So you start getting clear on all these things, and I recommend writing it down, because I would guarantee like 99% of humans have never done this. I promise you. Like who's ever sat down and written down like how they want their life to look like 1 year down the line, 5 years down the line, like literally in detail, like on a page, just writing it down exactly what your lifestyle is going to look like. How do you want your average Tuesday to look like? How do you want your average Saturday to look like? How much time do you want to spend with your family? How much time do you want to be at work? How much time do you want to, go out for a walk? Or how many vacations for you? Like everything, just writing everything down, exactly what you want, and just kind of digging deep into your soul, I would say. So I think all those things are important, and that's what kind of drives me is thinking about those things, and like that's what makes me play on days where I don't feel like playing. People always think, all the Team 651ers, they always think like, oh, Jack, he must want to play every day. Scott, he must want to play every day. I wouldn't say so. There's definitely days I don't want to play, but I play. That's it. That's really what it comes down to. I just play. That's all it is.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I'm all out of objections, really. I mean, it's hard to...
You're back at the table, Scott.
I'm back in the room. I'm back in the room. It's, I mean, it's hard to play devil's advocate when it's obviously I'm representing a position that isn't congruent with me. I'm not at that point yet, fortunately.
Yeah.
I'm not so naive to think that maybe that wouldn't happen one day.
Yeah, it's possible.
It's I'm 8 years in, and fortunately I still love the game. Like I said, I don't like there are days when I don't want to grind for sure. There
Yeah.
are days when I'd rather chill, and there are days when I do give into that and sacrifice a few hours of grinding. Maybe I feel like my family needs it, or I just need like a little rest, like that. And that, to be fair, that is like, in a way, that's like game management, isn't it? You know, you only have a certain level of energy, and you don't want to overextend yourself, and
Yeah.
then you do end up in a situation where you're feeling burnt out or demotivated. So
Yeah,
fortunately, I've
and,
never
and
got
like,
to
here's
that
the
point.
thing: you don't have to be like militant with yourself either. Like, I don't mean to, bring about like militant kind of things. Like, what Scott's saying. Like, if sometimes he doesn't feel like it, he will start like a few hours late, and that's fine as long as you don't let it get out of control. Where you're just like, oh, all of a sudden you just took 2 weeks off, like lounging on the couch
Yeah.
watching, Game of Thrones for like 2 weeks straight in your pajamas or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
Sounds
that's what I mean.
amazing, to be fair.
Don't take it to the extremes. Like, even when I have YouTube videos like about like limit your TV time and your video game, I don't mean don't do it at all. I watch a lot of TV. You know what I mean? I'm just saying don't do it for 12 hours per day. Like, there's a certain time and place for watching TV or playing video games or whatever. There's nothing wrong with any of those things. I want to clear my stance on that because I think a lot of people think like, oh, I'm just so militant, like, oh, I'll always be doing something productive all the time. It's not true.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, don't take it to the extreme of like playing video games for 8 like it's a full-time job, or watching TV like it's your full-time job, because eventually you're just gonna get sucked into a hole that you probably don't want to be in. But if you're watching like 2 or 3 hours of TV a night and like playing like an hour on video game, there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you're doing like some other productive shit on the side. I watch probably a few hours of TV every single night, almost. To be
Yeah,
honest.
I heard some really good advice about this recently, actually. So you talk about purpose, and this sort of overlaps with that. I read a book, or I listened to a book called Ikigai. I don't know if you've heard of it, which is Bill Perkins Bill Perkins talks about it a lot as well. I think he references it in that Diet with Zero, which I haven't read yet, but it's just like a Japanese word for like a specific type of purpose, like your purpose in life. And in Japan, they have a lot of people who live over the age of 100. And this book explores why so many people in Japan live these extended lives. And a big part of the reason, I mean, there's a few various like uncontrollable variables, like the climate, like the diet, in particular parts of Japan, they eat a lot of fish, like a rainbow diet, all this kind of stuff. But one of the main things is that people have this ikigai, this purpose in life, and it keeps them busy, and it keeps their mind active, and it keeps their bodies active. And they think that's a big part of the reason why they live so long, because people who become inactive mentally tend to develop
Yes,
dementia
I read
earlier.
that in